Om Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead me from the unreal to the real. Lead me from darkness to light. Lead me from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Today, we will discuss about this topic, truth alone triumphs. Satyameva jayate nanritam. This is a proclamation of the Mundaka Upanishad of the Atharva Veda. Truth alone triumphs, not untruth. Truth is often, before that, this is the motto of the Republic of India. When India became, after independence, when India became Republic in 1950, they adopted this as the motto, Satyameva Jayate, truth alone triumphs. And what is truth? Truth is defined as fact. And it is also defined as that which is unaffected by time, place, and causation. And any action based on truth leads to success and happiness, bliss. Any action based on untruth, which is not real, leads to misery and failures. Now, in the universe, there is nothing which is not affected by time, place, and causation. And truth, we just saw, is something which is not affected by time, place, and causation. So in that sense, truth stands for the ultimate unchanging reality behind the universe, which we call Brahman. Upanishads refers to this ultimate reality as Satyam, Jnanam, Ananda. Brahman is truth, knowledge, and eternity or infinitude. Again, it's referred to as Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Truth, auspiciousness, and beauty. Truth is there. Without truth, there can be nothing. So truth is the basis on or substratum of the whole universe. And that is equated as Brahman. Brahman is truth. So we can say anything that helps one in the spiritual progress towards God is truth. Aldous Huxley, in his book Perennial Philosophy, says that in religious literature, the term truth is used in three different, or has got three different meanings, or used in three different senses. The first, often it is used as fact. Truth, the term truth is used as fact, as when we say God is truth. That's a fact. Another meaning comes when we say worship God in spirit and in truth. That is direct understanding of the spiritual fact. Spiritual is direct understanding of truth, not second-hand knowledge through doctrines and dogmas. That is another meaning when we say worship God in spirit and truth. Then there is the common meaning when we say he or she spoke the truth. So these are three different meanings that we use the term truth in religious literature. Now, the first one is God is truth, as fact. We saw that truth is used in as equated to Brahman. Shankaracharya gives the central idea of Advaita Vedanta in a very short form. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Brahman alone is truth. Real. The whole universe is unreal. Now, the Brahman is the substratum of the universe. The world that we experience, we interact with, is constantly changing. Things are coming into existence, they remain in existence for some time, and then get dissolved, disappear, to get destroyed. So the universe is said to be unreal, and Brahma alone is real. In that sense, we have to find out what do you mean by real? Gaudapadacharya, Shankaracharya's teacher's teacher, in his Karika on the Mandukya Upanishad, says, what is not in the beginning and in the end is not in the present also. Although it seems to be real, it is characterized as unreal. That which is not in the beginning. This universe was not there in the beginning. It came to existence at particular point in time. So it was not in the beginning. And it will come to an end and some time. So it won't be there in the end also. It was not in the beginning, it won't be there in the end. So that which is not in the beginning, not in the end, it appears to be existing in the middle. So they say it's only an appearance, which was not in the beginning, not in the end, though appears to be existing in the middle, still we call it unreal, because it's only an appearance. So truth is that which is present in the beginning, in the middle, and end. That is the only truth. And what is that? Only Brahman, the ultimate reality. So Brahman is also referred to as Trisatyam, the truth that exists in the past, present, and future, Trisatyam. But how can we say the universe is unreal? We are experiencing it. We are interacting it with in our day-to-day life. And how can you say then that the universe is not real? We are real. The universe is also real. The sages say it's real. It's an appearance. Appears to be real. It appears to be real because there is an unchanging real substratum. So this changes looks like real. It's like today we don't have the pictures on the screen, but if we have pictures on the screen, the pictures keep changing. How do we see the pictures? Because there is an unchanging screen is there. In the olden time when we used to go to the theater to see the film, you can see the light coming from the back onto the screen. And if sometimes some people walk, the latecomers walk, and then there's a black. It's because this light is obstructed. So what is there in that when we are seeing so many action happening? Children are born, people are dying, happiness, misery, everything is happening. But what is there? There's nothing but a screen. Because the screen is stationary, unmoving, so we see all these pictures on that screen. The universe, they say, is just like that. There is an unchanging, unmoving substratum. The Brahman is there. So we see the universe on that, and it appears to be real. We see the movie, happiness, we laugh, funny thing, we laugh, so misery, somebody, we weep with the cry with them. We take it for it's real. It's only just changing pictures, light. And since Brahman is the substratum, which gives the appearance of reality to the universe, Brahman is also known as Satyasya Satyam, truth of truth, truth of this apparent truth, truth of this apparent real. The universe is apparently real, and that is because Brahman is there. This ultimate reality, but it is beyond our speech and mind. It's very hard to understand. So how can we think about it? It's beyond. Thinking means we are trying to limit it. We are trying to bring it within our mind, but the Brahman is beyond mind. Avang manasa gocharam, they say, beyond mind, speech. So how can you understand it? It's infinite existence. We cannot understand. So Swami Vivekananda in his inspired talk says, when we say Satchidananda, existence, knowledge, bliss, we are merely indicating the shores of an indescribable beyond. We say Brahman is or Satchidananda, existence, knowledge, bliss. So Swamiji says, when we say Brahman is Satchidananda, we are merely indicating the shores of an indescribable beyond. Not even can we say ease about it, for that too is relative. Any imagination, any concept is in vain. Neti, neti, not this, is all that can be said. For even to think is to limit and so to lose. Language cannot express something which is beyond time and space. Because language, our mind thinking is all within the framework of time and space. So we cannot say anything. That's why the sages that not this. They can say what it is not. The same thing we see in when Mr. Eckhart says, whatever thou sayest of God is untrue. So we cannot say anything about God, everything about Brahman, ultimate reality. So the sages said, not this, not this. Now the goal of all spiritual practices is to realize our divine nature as Atman or Brahman, existence, knowledge, bliss. We are the divinity. But it is so difficult. Swamiji in his opening lecture in talks on Hinduism in the Parliament of Religions said, come on, you are lions, not sheep. You realize your divine nature. But it's not easy. It's very hard. For ordinary people, it's not beyond their reach. So what to do? The sages said, keep that as the final goal. Don't bring down the ideal. That is the final ideal. This is the highest goal that you have to reach. That you realize your divine nature. But have an immediate goal, a lower goal, a lower ideal to reach that first. But don't bring down the final goal, final ideal. This is the highest ideal, you keep it there. But have one immediately so where we can reach. Think of God with name, with form, without form, with attributes, so that we come down to the idea of the personal God. That is where we say that second meaning that Huxley referred to as worship God in spirit and truth, that personal God. We can refer to God in any way, any of the human relations that we have, we can turn towards God and approach God. The only thing necessary is intense yearning. That is why Sri Ramakrishna says, cry to the Lord with an intensely yearning heart, and you will certainly see him. That's the only condition, intense yearning. If you are really yearning for God, then you will be able to see. The same thing Jesus said meant when he said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, with all thy strength. Love God. Not fearing God, not God fearing, it's God loving. Now, the third meaning is that common meaning of truth, like he or she said this, spoke the truth. That comes into a play when we start practicing spiritual disciplines. Holding on to truth, speaking what is true, and keeping up promises, keeping up the word. That's most important in spiritual life. That is why we see in the Upanishad, the teachers giving the parting advice to the student as like a convocation advice. Starts with saying, Satyam vada dharmam chara. Speak the truth, practice righteousness. That's the most basic thing. Speak the truth. Why is truth so important in spiritual life? If you want to progress in spiritual life, they say, keep on saying, speak truth, truth. Why is it so important? There's a story in the Srimad Bhagavatam. King Parikshit was the grandson of the Pandavas. He was ruling the kingdom, and one day when he was out, coming back after hunting, he saw a man harassing a bull. Now the bull is righteousness, dharma taken the form of a bull. The four legs of the bull, the four legs of dharma are tapas, that is austerity, shaucha, cleanliness, daya, compassion, and satya, truth. Now the Kali, embodiment of evil, that is that man who is harassing the bull, he has broken the three legs. He has broken the three legs of the bull, that is austerity, cleanliness, and compassion has already been broken. The bull is standing on one leg, that is truth. And Kali is trying to break that leg also. Parikshit stopped him and was going to kill Kali, the man, when he fell at his feet. Now, if the enemy falls at your feet, take refuge in you, you cannot, as the code of conduct for the king, should not kill the person. So Parikshit left him, spared him, but said, no, you have to leave my kingdom. You cannot, you are evil. Your companions are avarice, untruth, theft, hypocrisy, and all that. So there is no place for you in my kingdom. Then Kali said, but where shall I go? God has created me. I have to live somewhere. The whole universe is ruled by you. Where shall I go? Then Parikshit said, all right, you can stay where the name of God is forgotten, where there's gambling, drinking, lustfulness, and desire to kill. And we see all this together in gold. Where there is gold, all these things come together. Gambling, drinking, lustfulness, desire to kill, all come because of gold. So Kali was asked to stay in the gold. That is why we always say Kamini and Kanchana are the two enemies of spiritual seekers. Gold and lust and gold. Now to come back. Now dharma is standing on one leg now. It's truth. That is why they say, if you practice truthfulness in this age, in the Kali Yuga, that is enough for righteousness. To practice dharma, you don't have to practice any other discipline, just practice truthfulness. And we see Sri Ramakrishna saying again and again, truthfulness is the best austerity in this age. The highest austerity that you can practice in this age of Kali Yuga, is truthfulness. We express ourselves through our thoughts, words, and actions. We build a noble character when we can harmonize these three, our thoughts, words, and actions. Often we find it very difficult to do it. If you say, oh, why can't it? It's so easy. Just to harmonize your thoughts, words, and action. But in practice, we find it very difficult. There are several reasons for that. One is the content of our inner life is beyond our control. We are not sure what all things are there deep down in our mind. So we don't have control over our actions. Many times we, after doing something or saying something, we regret. Why did I do that? Why did I say that? Because the subconscious mind made us do that. We don't have control. Another reason why we don't or find it hard to harmonize thought, word, and deed is we are not sure about things and people around us. And then often we don't have a definite goal or philosophy of life. Unless you have a definite goal to hold on to, life it's not be consistent, it's difficult. You should have a definite goal. And this unity of thought, word, and deed is very, very absolutely essential in spiritual life. Sri Ramakrishna says, to harmonize one's mind and speech is true spiritual practice. If one says, Lord, you are my all in all, and at the same time have the conviction in the mind that material welfare is everything, his spiritual efforts go in vain. We say, oh Lord, you are my all in all. Just lip service. Doesn't mean that. And in the mind, we have the idea, conviction that material things are everything. So Sri Ramakrishna says, such person, all the spiritual efforts go in vain. We may be doing a lot of practices, doing meditation, japa, prayers, everything. But if you say something, mean something else, and do a third thing, no. Spiritual life is not for such people. Whatever else they do, spiritual practices. So we can say truthfulness has got several dimensions. Mahatma Gandhi, in his autobiography, Experiments with Truth, says, he writes, for me, truth is a sovereign principle, which includes other principles. Truth is a sovereign principle, which includes other principles. This truth is not only truthfulness in word, but truthfulness in thought also. So thought and word. And not only relative truth of our conception, but the absolute truth, the eternal principle, that is God. So there are different dimensions for truth. Now, anybody who tries to practice truthfulness in thought, word, and deed finds how difficult it is. It's very hard. You have to face a lot of difficulties. You must be ready for that. From our epics to modern time, we can see many examples of that. Just take Sri Rama. Why did he have to go to forest and spend all this time? Because he gave the word. He will do. That is truthfulness. Keep up the word that you gave. King Harishchandra. I don't know how many of you know the story of King Harishchandra. It's an ancient, in the Puranas we come across this story. Just to keep up his word, he lost his whole kingdom, his wife, his son, himself had to be sold in the marketplace as a slave, just to keep up his word, to follow the truthfulness. That's why there is even as saying, if somebody is trying to be truthful, say, oh, being truthful like Harishchandra. He had to go through a lot of difficulties. Come to modern time, earlier time, we hear about the life about Sri Ramakrishna's father. He refused to give false testimony, which the landlord wanted. He refused that. And because of that, he has to lose his family home and leave from the village, leave the village. So many examples you can see. If you want to practice truthfulness, this is the highest virtue. You must be ready to pay the highest price. In this present social system, anybody holding an ideal, daring to stand against the establishment, whether it is government, political parties, business, or even organized religion, is often crushed by threat, violence, intimidation, all that comes. But still, we have the faith, truth alone triumphs. Otherwise, why should there so many corruption inquiries? Because we believe that truth will come out in the end. All over the world, everybody has got that faith deep down, truth will come. Satyameva jayate. There's a Latin proverb which says, truth conquers all. So it's not just an idea which India is proclaiming to the whole world, truth alone triumphs. It's all over the world. Truth alone triumphs. And we should practice truthfulness for its own sake, not for any other motive. They say if one practices truthfulness, complete truthfulness in thought, word, and deed, that person gains such power that whatever he or she says comes true. That person cannot even dream or think of something falsehood. Whatever that person thinks, says, become truth, happens. The body obeys the person, nature obeys the person. You can see Sri Ramakrishna went to a devotee's house. After the prayers and talking and everything, they were serving food. Sri Ramakrishna said, I won't eat any puris. He said earlier, he was full at that time, he was not hungry. He said he won't eat puris. Afterwards, he was hungry. But he has said he won't eat, so he cannot eat. The hand won't go to the mouth, literally. He could not eat. So he had to eat something else, some fruits and sweets, and fill the stomach, because he could not eat puris. That body obeys, the nature obeys. And if such a person blesses somebody, that person is blessed. Whether that person is deserving that blessing, no, doesn't matter. Doesn't at all, at all. They are beyond the law of karma. Nature obeys them. Patanjali in the Yoga Sutra says, Satya Pratishtayam Kriya Bhalashrayatvam. Satya Pratishtayam Kriya Bhalashrayatvam. By the establishment of truthfulness, the yogi gets the power of attaining for himself and others the fruits of work without the works. By being established in truthfulness, the yogi gets the power of attaining for himself and others the fruits of work without work. Such is the power of truth. And explaining this sutra, Swamiji says, if a man is diseased and you say to him, be thou cured, he'll be cured immediately. This explains the apparent miracles performed by sages, prophets, godmen. We see in the Bible Jesus telling the cripple, stand up and walk. He immediately, the man gets up and walks. The leper, he said, you're cured. His leprosy is gone. The blind man, he said, you can see. He can see immediately. Oh, how? Because of truthfulness. So-called miracles are all because of this one idea, truthfulness. So Swami Premananda says, the first thing needed to be spiritual is truthfulness. Never forsake truth, even for your life. You have, as I said earlier, Truthfulness is the highest virtue. So you may have to pay the highest price for that. And highest price we have is our life. Maybe even at the cost of your life, should not move away from truth. Never forsake truth, even for the sake of your life. Is Swami Premananda continuing. God is truth itself. Hence, he is at the command of one who is devoted to truth. If you are devoted to truth, God will always protect you. You don't have to worry. Because God is truth himself. If we have truthfulness, every other virtue is sure to come in its wake, even self-control. You don't have to practice all the different virtues that you speak about, that is needed for spiritual life. Just practice truthfulness. All the other virtues will come automatically. Now we may protest. Why are you saying practice truthfulness? We are not telling lies. We are not cheating or following untruthfulness or falsehood. It is not just outright falsehood that we have to avoid, even exaggeration or pretense. It's all falsehood. We quite often we follow falsehood in our words and deeds, which we just take it for granted. We don't condemn. We say how many times we speak untruth while joking, laughing, making fun of others. These are all untruth actually. A spiritual person cannot afford to do that. If you a spiritual seeker has to be absolutely truthful. Because untruth in any form creates many forms of complication and disturbances in the mind. To cover up one lie, you may tell another lie, many lies, and mind get completely complicated. And then in the end, the truth comes out. So your mind is disturbed. So these mental disturbances are not very noticeable in the mundane life because they are not so strict on their following the truthfulness. But a spiritual seeker, as you progress on the path of spirituality, these disturbances become very conspicuous. Because once the gross forms of untruthfulness are removed, we begin to notice subtle forms. Once Rakhal, young Rakhal, who was staying with Sri Ramakrishna, who later became Swami Brahmananda, had gone to Calcutta to meet some friends. And then when he came back the next day, Sri Ramakrishna asked, what did you do? Did you do something wicked? Now, as far as Rakhal's idea, wickedness is stealing, immoral acts. So he said, no. But why can't I look at your face? Did you say tell some lie? He tried to remember and then, yes, while talking with friends, said something in joking, an untruth. Never do that. As a spiritual aspirant, spiritual seeker on the path of spirituality, you cannot afford to say even in joke an untruth. Little children are naturally truthful. Then why do we lose that? They learn to tell lies from their parents. Parents, elders, we often say that parents tell the children, always speak the truth. Now, somebody came and rang the bell. The father said, go and see, look who is that. So the child went and looked, oh, so-and-so is there. Tell him father is not here. And we ask the child to speak the truth. What does the child learn? When it is convenient, I'll speak truth. When it's inconvenient, I'll tell lie. It doesn't matter. That's what father is doing. Why do we often tell lies. Many different reasons are there of falsehood. One is fear of discovery. I do something wrong, they may find out, so I tell lie. Of punishment, of shame, or losing status, power, all that. Then there are others who practice untruthfulness deliberately. Deliberately. In this digital age, it is rampant. It is increasing by leaps and bounds. Deliberate practice of untruthfulness. We have all this fake news, misinformation, altering images using artificial intelligence. Then scammers siphoning all the wealth of unsuspecting people. Big corporates cheating government, ordinary people. List is on and on, will increase. You can giving wrong instruction deliberately, divulging secrets, forging documents. These are all following untruthfulness. Then approving or encouraging others following falsehood is as good as myself following the falsehood. I can say, no, I didn't do anything. That person did it. Well, did you approve it? Yes. Then you are accused of falsehood because you approved that or you encourage the person. It's as good as you yourself doing that. Now, how are we to get over some control over our tendency to follow untruth? Controlling or giving up anger, greed, gossip, they help us in practicing truthfulness. Also, think before you speak. Pause before you give an answer or respond to something. And when we control our tendencies to cheat, lie, or break promise, our external life becomes less complicated. And when we try to practice truthfulness in thought, word, and deed, we realize that we must have some control over our body, mind, and for that, we must have discernment. We must be alert. How is my mind thinking? Is my mind going on the wrong way? We must be alert to have discernment and determination. No, as soon as you realize the mind is going on the wrong way, thinking the wrong thing, tending towards falsehood, you must be ready to pull the mind back. So determination should be there. And this should be practiced with patience and perseverance. It doesn't happen in a day or two. Because we have given free rein to our mind for so long. Not just this life. How many lives we have given free range? So it's hard to pull it back. It takes time. So we need to practice with patience and perseverance. After a few attempts, you fail and it's no point trying. No, we have to persevere again and again. Often we find it is easier to follow the wrong path, follow falsehood, untruthfulness, because of majority is doing that. It is harder to follow the truth. It's easier to follow untruthfulness. No, we have to have strong discernment and determination to stand against biases, prejudices, superstition, etc. of the majority. Majority says, the society says, this is the right thing. Let's do this. I know it is wrong, but let us do it. We will get pleasure, happiness we must be ready to stand against that. Because that happiness or that pleasure is temporary. And you must know that it will lead in suffering and misery in the long term. Often we say, why people who are following the righteous path, those who are following truthfulness and other virtues, they are suffering in this world. And those who are criminals, they are thriving. So isn't it proper to follow the criminals or unrighteous path? Because we are measuring the time in a short term. Look at the long span of time, long range of time of the universe. This is only short. They will have their short time of happiness, pleasures, fame, name, all that. And then nobody remembers them, they will be suffering. Whereas the person who is following the truth may be having some suffering in the beginning, but later will have peace, contentment, because truth is God. As Sri Krishna speaks in the Gita about the three types of happiness, he says the superior happiness is bitter in the beginning. To practice superior happiness, it's bitter, but later it becomes like nectar. Following the hard path of truthfulness is like that. It's bitter in the beginning, it's hard. You have to face difficulties. But in the long term, long run, you will be reaching God because truth is God. The following the path of truth leads to a more fulfilling life. Because I know I have followed truth. I am happy. Whatever you people say, doesn't matter to me. I'll follow truth. In spite of all the challenges, the person who is following the truth, path of truth, has a fulfilling life. Because truth always triumphs. Because truth is the underlying reality of the universe. Let's just take the example of Sri Ramakrishna's father. Because he refused to give false evidence, the landlord threw him out of the village. But a friend gave him a piece of land in Kamarpukur, and he established himself there. And we got Sri Ramakrishna there because he was such a truthful person. The Lord was born as his child. God does not take birth in anybody's house. The parents have to be extremely pious and truthful. So that is why we say, how difficult it is, the person who follows the path of truth will have fulfilling life. And even the evil we see because there is background of truth. And what is evil after all? Evil is truth covered by ignorance. Truth is there. So we see even the presence of evil. The sun is covered by a patch of cloud. How do you see that cloud, patch of cloud? How do you see it? Because sun is there, shining behind that. To show that patch of cloud, the presence of sun is there. The same way, we see the evil happening in the world because there is the underlying existence of truth. Truth is there. I'll just finish with a few words of Swami Shivananda, one of the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. Truth will be crowned with victory, and what is false or counterfeit will be blown away by the wind of truth. See, truth will be crowned with victory, and what is false or counterfeit will be blown away by the wind of truth. Know for certain that those who are sincerely seeking God, the embodiment of truth, will undoubtedly be led by Him along the right path. If you are sincerely seeking God, and God is the embodiment of truth, God will undoubtedly lead that person along the right path.
Well, this week we'll have the yoga class as usual on Thursday morning from 10 a.m. We've got the spiritual evening discussion on Friday night, which will be led by Pravrajika. Next Sunday, we have a special celebration. It's the birthday of Sri Krishna. We'll have group chanting of chapter 12 in the Bhagavad Gita. We'll have talks by Ripataka and Pravrajika Gayatriprana. There'll be some sharing of sweets and savories afterwards, so you're invited to bring some for offering. On 15th of September, we're having the meditation day here in Vedanta Hall from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's almost full, so if you're planning to attend, you'll need to let us know pretty soon. And also on the Sunday, the 22nd, we're having a retreat at Dharma, one-day retreat. We'll tell you more about that later. Now we will conclude with a guided meditation. I'll be conducting a guided meditation. A little bit of time set up for that.